Hello everyone, welcome back. I am Ben the Bull. You are still probably you, and I am the nation of Carthage today. That's right, we are continuing our Hannibal at the Gates playthrough. So, we have conquered all of North Africa. We are, just a reminder, in this playthrough, I am pretty much just trying to stick to the missions. So, I could go out of my way and conquer Sardinia, or even just push into Iberia right now, but I'm going to try to hold myself back a little bit and instead follow what the missions are telling me, because I want to see what the missions are going to kind of get the AI to do. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to follow them 100%. I probably will go ahead, if I don't get a mission to do it soon, probably will go ahead and grab the rest of Sardinia, really start to put myself at odds with the Romans. I am, however, to the best of my ability, going to leave the Romans alone and try to let them get sufficiently nice and strong. Let's go ahead and see if we can have a big late game rival in the Romans, probably fighting either over Corsica or Sicily, but let's see if we can make that into a big, let's see if we can make the late game a very large Punic War. After all, there is the new Punic Wars DLC, which we are currently playing with. So, let us go ahead and continue. We could go ahead and hit the finish mission button now that we have taken the Libyan Empire. We got a permanent bonus for that, which off the top of my head I forget what it was, but I am going to wait because I actually want the national commerce income up by 10% for the next 30 years. We will get that as soon as Tripolitania finishes integrating. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and hit that unpause button. We have some loyalty issues that we are going to need to deal with. So I have a feeling that these new provinces that we have just captured, they are not going to be loyal to us for very long. So let's go ahead and recruit some light infantry and assign them to the province. In the meantime, I'm actually going to bring my larger armies back home. Let's actually just move this. Actually, no, we'll leave these 25,000 men right where they are. We will take this 20,000 stack and we were going to take it back towards Carthage. We have an unused trade route in our capital province. Will anyone trade anything? Yeah, we could get some extra stone. Stone is great. Go ahead and do that. Stone is good for a couple reasons. If we get a surplus, we can get build cost in the capital minus 10%. Not going to complain about that. Spending less money is, of course, best. And also, we're going to increase our local fort defensiveness. Now our local fort defensiveness is 40%, so that's not too terrible. Plus, we get 5% from years of supply. Man, we do have a lot of food here. I could increase that, I believe it's like by 2.5 per granary that you have, because every granary gives you an extra 200 food supply, so I believe we could even increase this local fort defense even farther. But for now, I'm not going to worry about it. If we have people sieging down Carthage, well, we have other problems to deal with. Because right now, we're pretty strong. Which, I mean, you know, this is a Carthage game. We expected to be pretty strong. The question is, really, just how strong will we be incentivized to be with the missions? I'm also going to go ahead, have I been improving relations here? I'm going to go ahead and improve relations here. Everyone seems to be happy with that, so let's do this. Eventually, I will look to integrate you as well. Let's see. We're still losing loyalty in Sardinia, but everywhere else we're gaining loyalty in our disloyal provinces. Good. Ooh, we have an attempted bribe. In a thinly disguised attempt at bribery, Agbal Budana, the head of the populist faction, made Bostar Gisco a perfectly generous offer on behalf of his faction. Ooh, I don't think I want that. Carthage would owe the populist faction one favor. Nah, we're gonna lose some stability for this, unfortunately, though. Our stability is not great. Oh well, this was... Oh no, that was our aggressive expansion. Our stability is fine. Whoops. I'm going to go ahead and assign you to the region. Let's actually take a look at the region map mode. So I already have one army of 10,000 men assigned to the region. Let's go ahead and assign another army of 10,000 men. I'll go ahead and build 10 more skirmishers. Well, 9 more skirmishers, but they'll link with you. And I'm going to march these horsemen. You don't, unfortunately, get some boats. I'm just going to march you back here. You'll get there fast enough. We have a new omen to grab. I think national citizen output is where I'm going to stay. Let's keep increasing our tech. Uh-oh, we have pirates. We always have pirates. Pirates are a standard thing. We, unfortunately, are now losing money. So I'm going to go ahead and dip back down to negative fleet maintenance. Tell you what, our Navy has the potential to cost a lot of money. At fully maintenance, it would cost 10 ducats. We could also think about getting rid of some of these forts. We do have a plethora of them. But having a bunch of forts, especially since we do have some barbarian issues in the North African, or kind of in the Sahara, having a bunch of forts isn't necessarily a bad thing. We've assigned this army to the region. That's going to actually increase our province loyalty pretty nicely. We should also go ahead and take a look at some of the governor policies. I think it is a good idea to stay on the assimilation route. We should also probably do the assimilation route here as well, because currently they're barely assimilating any pops. So I'm going to go ahead and move from encouraged trade to... let's do religious conversion first. Man, that's going to be just so slow. I could build some cities to try to then build some... for instance, in this specific province... yeah, so what if I did build a city here? Of course, I'll need more gold. So we have lots of migration coming to this province, but most of that migration is coming from actually more the region of Africa. We do have a little bit of migration coming from here. I'm actually going to go ahead and... is there a fort here? Yeah. So there's a fort here. I'm going to go ahead and delete this fort here. It saves us half a ducat of gold per month. I'm going to come back to Carthage, and you know what? Let's see. If I were to build a new building, if I were to build a foundry, it increases my population output by 1%. My population output is currently at 92.5%. I wonder why it's at 92.5 and not a full 100. Is it because of unrest? That would make sense, right? Is there a way I can tell why it's not at 100%? Ooh, it's almost time to build Carthage into a metropolis. We have a bunch of citizens who are, and tribesmen and slaves who are unhappy. Let's look at why they're unhappy. For instance, let's choose someone below 50%, please. Yes, you. So you are not happy because you're not of a Levantine culture group. So we definitely want to keep assimilating our pops. So I think for now I'm just going to build another... ooh, I don't even have any theaters. So let's go ahead and build a theater in Carthage. We probably don't need this local tax office, so let's go ahead and get rid of it. And so we're actually going to build a second theater. Unfortunately, we have a death. Alright, so let's see. Let's actually take a look at our government tab real quick. Currently, we will have a member of the military faction take over for us. Second in that election is a member of the religious faction. I wouldn't mind pushing maybe some more of the mercantile faction into power. Is there anyone in the mercantile faction that could take over this job. You could. We'll go ahead and hire you for it. You're going to push a little bit of Senate influence towards the mercantile faction. I also could think about ways to discredit you. So I don't want you to be near as high prominence as you are. Well, you're going to be high prominence because you're the co-ruler, but I'm probably going to remove you as Tribune of the People. Instead, let's go with someone else, someone who I want to have a decently high prominence. Maybe someone of the Civic faction. We'll go with Hiram Gisgo. That, of course, is going to make some people mad. Do I have any? Yeah, so I do have a minor character here. Let's see. We'll go ahead and put this man in charge as the Tribune of the Treasury. That's going to kind of hurt my impact, but now I don't have the leader of the populist faction gaining as much prominence. Of course, he still is going to gain a bunch of prominence because he is the co-ruler, and a head of the family, but at least we can make him a little less prominent. Although he does have a base of 76.5 just because of how famous he is, because he's had a pretty decent job for a really long time. Of course, we still have more and more pirates. So yeah, we're going to build, I think, 2 temples when we get enough money. Let's go ahead and build another one. And then, or sorry, 2 theaters. I'll probably also build a couple temples as well. All these marketplaces, you know what, they're fine. I'll leave them for now. I might get rid of them later. We are continuing. We are just a few months, I think, from completing the mission to absorb Tripolitania into our nation, and then Carthage will absolutely stretch all the way across the coastline of North Africa, and we will have to see what our next mission is. I think I would like... Ooh, look, things are looking up. You're going to lose the depressed trait. I mean, I guess good for you. Ooh, we hit a martial advancement, so we're going to want to save up some money because I definitely am going to want fort defense. I'm going to want all 3 of those, so let's continue to save up some money. We're making about 10 ducats per month. Province loyalty is looking pretty decent at the moment, which does give us an opportunity to convert some pops, albeit extremely slowly. Well, you're going to be done in just a couple years, so we're converting their religion first, which should make it a little bit faster to eventually convert their... So why are we converting the religion so much better in this territory than in this one? Because there are not pops that can be converted in this territory at this time. So are both of these pops... Well, they're both megalithic. Is it because one of them is migrating away and the other one is assimilating, and you can't be migrating, assimilating, and converting at the same time, maybe? We'll see. Numidian kings. Since the establishment of the first Phoenician cities on the African coast hundreds of years ago, the Numidians and other native inhabitants of the colonies have been great allies, supplying many of our valuable exports and making us wealthy through their interest in exotic goods and high-quality imports from around the Mediterranean. We are no longer a collection of small cities, but a great empire reaching across the internal ocean. And while our relationship with the Numidian kings has been useful in the past, some argue that the time has come for the Numidians to accept our government and become part of Carthage. Oh, okay, so we get an event for these Musalami people. Interesting. We could say that they have outlived their usefulness, and we will get claims on their territories, plus they will lose 50 opinion. We could say the kings can surely be guided. We will lose 15 political influence and a bunch of money, more money than we have. but they will get Carthaginian investment. No, that's I definitely don't want that one. And we can say, why change horses midstream? We could just keep the status quo. We could get wrong culture group happiness up by 10% for the next 10 years, plus national commerce income. I mean, that is good, but I think in the end I'm actually going to want to conquer them. So we've gained claims on all their land. Are they still our tributary? They are. So let's go ahead and just end that. They're going to dislike us. We're going to conquer. Let's change you to religious conversion. And to get more money, it looks like people want us to trade some grain. Yeah, sure. We'll trade away some grain. We're not starving anywhere. We need a new oratory researcher. Let's find someone who we think we might later want to become our king, because you get a lot of prominence for being a researcher for some reason. This man's 63 years old. He's got a really high statesmanship already. So being a researcher may not necessarily help him. Oh, I guess that's that guy that I fired. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put him in charge just because he's pretty decent. And he's going to help us advance a little bit faster. He's decently high prominence. But I doubt he will be competing to become our ruler anytime soon. I could put Carthalo Barca. Let's see what he's doing. He's just the head of a great family. He is content, which means he gets a base negative. But actually, I don't believe he can go over 100 prominence, so he is just where he is. So if I wanted him to be the next ruler, I would now need to make him more popular. So I could put him in charge of like a conquering army or something. Ooh, black news indeed. We have a stability drop. I think that was from one of those cute events that I didn't take. Ooh, alright, so we have the integration of Tripolitania. I think I'm just going to go with this one. We are going to stop importing from them, of course, which means we now have a bunch more, well, at least one more import route. I don't think I'm going to keep going with wood. I could get more stone. Actually, I have plenty of stone. But I could get even more local fort defense from having more stone. I mean, that's not bad, but it's also not maybe the direction I want to go. I think I'm going to go with local slave happiness, especially since I'm kind of dealing with some unrest issues because of happiness. So let's go ahead and grab some olives. We're going to grab olives from Tripolitania, but it's going to be fine. We now need a new governor here. And I think I'm just going to go with this guy. He's pretty old. This will help his statesmanship a little bit. It's going to make him a little bit more prominent, but... And yeah, now, look at Carthage grow, and soon enough after this, I'm sure we have a truce, right? No, we actually don't have a truce, so I could go ahead and declare war on them right away. I might just do that. Let's grab this navy, come in, pick up this army, and we'll get ready to declare war on our longtime allies. Let's use these fast horsemen to try to take down these barbarians. I'm actually a little worried about that fight, so I'm going to move these 20,000 men this direction as well. I should probably think about building a fort in the city of Visa. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And just hope the barbarians don't. So we do have a better general. Let's take a look. Are you... You're a friend of a governor. Are you the... Yeah, alright, so... The reason that he is going to be the next leader of our people is because he's decently prominent, but he's also kind of popular. No, his popularity... So the way I see it, basically, and I could have this math wrong, but the way I see it, let's look up at the top with the civic faction, secession support. So we are about 9 popularity. So I'm thinking that because his popularity is around 9, it's actually 9.7, half of that is 4.89. So, and then half, he is 100% prominent, and then half of that is, he has 100 prominence, and so half of that is 50%. So, the civic faction, they have a couple reasons why they would support him. They have his popularity, his prominence, and his family prestige. So, that gives them 64%, give or take a little bit. And then we have, but then he is not a member of the civic faction, so that is a minus 50% chance to support him. So then that gives us around a 14.89% chance, and then that is and then that is reduced by 0.63 because he has bad health, although his health isn't actually that bad, giving the civic faction a 13.5% chance to support him. The military faction, though, that's a different story because they don't get that negative modifier for him not being a member. Okay, alright, I'm finally figuring this out. So sorry it's taken me so long, but I think I finally understand why they will vote for him over someone else, and specifically you. I do wish it broke it down, and I wish I could see, like, why the same breakdown for the other 2 candidates. Although, if you really think about it, we can still get it. So, for instance, they're going to have anyone outside of the civic faction is going to have a minus 50% base chance to vote for this guy, Carthalo, Barca. But then they will have a 50% a chance to vote for him because of his high prominence. So those basically wipe each other out. So he's probably going to get most of the civic faction votes. And then so say the 31 votes that are coming from the... Sorry, he will get most of the mercantile faction votes, but then the 31 votes that are coming from the civic faction, he is automatically going to not receive... or he gets a 50% negative modifier for that, because of he's not a member of the civic faction. That will be counteracted by his prominence score. He will get about whatever half of 45% is. So what is that, a 22% chance? So he's going to get some votes outside of his party, but just because his party is so weak, he's not actually going to get a ton of votes. Okay. Sorry, that was a lot of word vomit. I'm like making sense of it, but I think I'm understanding the way... Alright. Well, I said I thought I was understanding it, but now why is their bad health reduces support by that to 0.32? Alright, well, you know what? I understand here, I think. But now, because of all these... Alright, so, never mind. I really... I'm still having I'm still having a hard time figuring out this bad health at 44.8, then reduces support by that to 0.32. So his bad health reduces support by less than... Oh well. I'm sure the math checks out. I just don't really understand where they're getting their numbers from. Ah well, either way, if I want to increase my chances for the mercantile faction to come back into power, I should increase the seats in the mercantile faction. I think I might go ahead and do that. As well as... I could, of course, get some more laws, although all these laws I don't see any that help the mercantile faction. They all seem to help either the civic, religious, or populist factions. Tell me how that's fair. Oh, this one helps the mercantile faction, the anti-piracy edict. Although, I don't really actually want to go there because I'm really liking that import value, plus 25%. Alright, well, I'm just going to keep going the way I'm going at the moment then. Let's see, will this army win this fight? It actually does predict that I'm going to win, probably because of my good general. Yeah, he gets a significant buff because he's a really good general. Also, all these horsemen, let's go ahead and stack wipe them, shall we? I think we're actually going to beat their army there, allowing us to be the defender. Ooh, we do. And so we're going to be the defender, and that will stack wipe them. Perfect. We'll gain some territory. I am going to build a fortress here just to keep them from raiding this area too much. It'll keep the civilization value high. Alright, I moved these 30 ships over here for a reason. Let's go ahead and load you onto these boats. And move you back towards the region of Africa, because we are going to capture all of these. We're going to, unfortunately, declare war on the Musalami relatively soon. Oh, do you know what I need to do? Oh, I need to keep... Oh, man. So I need the entire area, so it looks like I need just one more... Do I just need to colonize these two provinces? Yeah, so it looks like just like I need to colonize these two provinces before I'm able to complete the mission. Let's go ahead and just move some pops around then. We have some money. That allows me to hit the colonize button there. And then I don't think I have enough money to do this. Hit the colonize button there. Put a new governor in charge. I guess I'm going to go with you. You're a member of the civic faction. This is going to increase your prominence. And actually, you're a relatively young member of the civic faction. So yeah, let's go ahead and increase your prominence. Honestly, I should probably think about making you a researcher. Or, I keep saying the civic faction. I mean the mercantile faction. But yeah, let's keep trying to... as a governor, you should increase your prominence, which will hopefully allow you to take over relatively soon. I need... Alright, there we go. I have now settled that entire province, and I can hit the Emporium of Tripoli. Boom. That's commerce rate up for the next 30 years by 10%. Perfect. And now we are going to finish the mission, complete the mission. Yes, we have. Alright, so now we have another chance. Alright, so I like where that mission took us. We conquered all of North Africa, so Carthage is looking pretty strong indeed. Although, honestly, not as strong as one might think, because take a look at that. We have a lot of pops who are not of our religion, and we have a lot of pops who are not of our culture, so we need to try to rectify that, honestly, sooner rather than later. We're working on it, of course. But we have a new option for a mission, so let's check out the three of these. Ooh, and I already know which one I'm kind of leaning towards, but let's read them, see what's happening. So we could do the end to Sicilian warfare. Sicily has long been a battleground between different Greek factions, particularly the people of Syracuse and ourselves. It has been a drain on our resources and pushed us to the brink of destruction in the past, but most recently under the warmonger Agathocles, it is time to put an end to these petty wars and finally annex the island once and for all. So we could try to annex all of Sicily. That's an admirable goal. I'm a big fan of the island of Sicily. I did a very tall playthrough on Sicily. You should definitely check it out, even though it was in the last patch of the game. Basically, it's going to give us missions that will help us take all of Sicily. Well, we could do that, of course. A matter of Africa. Our fortunes await in foreign lands. The Africa region has been considered part of the borders, yet much of it remains beyond our control. Make sure that it is brought under our influence. So this mission will be considered complete when the entire region of Africa is under Carthaginian influence. Well, honestly, that one's going to be really easy to do, because I'm very soon going to declare war. As soon as this army gets in range, I'm going to declare war and do that. So honestly, I might snag this mission first, just because maybe it will give me some bonuses to grabbing the territory that I'm already planning on grabbing anyway. Or we can do the Iberian struggle. The rich lands of Iberia are waiting for a mighty trade empire to take control of their many silver mines. The many Phoenician colonies there give us an entry point we should make use of when we give our soldiers the order to expand into this wild region. This mission will be considered complete when we have taken control of the regions of Contestania and Baetica. So those are two big regions. Man. Oops. Well. Whoops. I was actually planning on going with the African region, or mission, and then, because I was going to officially finish that when I took command of the region, and I was just going to hit finish whether it was ready or not, but I kind of accidentally clicked a button, and now we're doing the Iberian struggle, which is fine, because it was the one that I was, before I saw how easy that African mission set was going to be, it was the one I was planning on doing. So let's take a look at some of the potential missions in here. So it looks like right away I might as well just hit these buttons, and it will give me some free claims. I'm all for free claims. Ooh, the Balearis. Do I want to integrate the Balearic Islands? You know what? I might as well, right? So I think the very first one I'm going to do is hit this button. If I can. Why can't I? Oh, it said this task is already working. I'll go ahead, if I can hit all of these at once, I'll go ahead and hit all of them. In the meantime, let's go ahead and improve opinion. Let's make sure that everyone likes that. Yeah, of course everyone likes that. And with the new mission and with the completion of our old mission set, I think that's where I'm going to go ahead and call it quits for the day. I am slowly figuring out this whole Republic thing. I'm really enjoying playing as a Republic. I do think it's probably one of the more powerful ways to play, having all these rulers. I think you can probably influence your ruler a lot more so than you can in any other government type, and I think that that is inherently good. I just have to figure it out a little bit more, but I'm working through it. I'm getting through this together. Thank you for bearing with me. I am having a good time. I hope you're enjoying watching, and I will definitely see you on the next one. Three, two, one. Hello everyone. First of all, I just want to say I hope you're having a great day. Glad you're tuning into the video. We are playing our Hannibal at the Gates campaign. We are Carthage, and we are working to now fulfill the mission that is the Iberian struggle. So soon we are going to try to take over the Iberian Peninsula. That's pretty exciting. I'm excited to see this. Now, with that said, sometimes fighting these tribes is a little more difficult than they appear, because they can just spam out men. They have those tribal vassals. Also, tribesmen can put out quite a bit of manpower if used correctly, and if you build a bunch of those little tribal settlements, which it looks like there aren't a ton of around Iberia at the moment. I guess that's good. Although most of these are not migratory tribes, they are, well, heck, this is a democratic republic. Interesting. I didn't know that there were any democratic republics in Iberia at the time. Well, except for the small Hellenistic states. For instance, you're a plutocratic republic, if I remember right. Yep, good for you. Same with, like, the Emporians up here. Anyway, first on our list, while our kind of claims are fabricating, I want to go ahead and deal with the Musalami people. Let us, as soon as this army is in position, we're going to go ahead and declare war on them. I think it's time for us to turn all of North Africa green. I'm going to, I guess, just bring you this way. Ooh, great news. Someone gets 20 opinion of Carthage. I believe that's you. Soon we're going to be integrating you, so perfect. We do still have some loyalty issues. That's just going to kind of be a thing. We need a new researcher. Okay, researchers are a really good way to kind of groom who you want to eventually lead your nation. So if I wanted, for instance, Metallo Barca, which is this guy, well, he's currently a general, which is actually a great way to gain prominence too. Wait, are you a general? And a rival of a general? No, not. But he has 100% prominence, so we're not necessarily worried about him. But for instance, if I had a character who didn't have 100% prominence, it looks like all of our faction leaders do. But some of our maybe kind of more down the line people, man, we have a lot of people in the religious faction, don't we? Well, a lot of people in the religious faction who are at least good, have a high religious score. I think I'm actually going to go with you. You're just a minor character, but this is a good way to increase his prominence. So he gets a base 30 prominence for being a researcher, and then his prominence is going to change by 0.5 each month due to the fact that he's a researcher. So this is just a good way to go ahead and get him, you know, make him become a fairly recognized person in the country. Maybe that will influence him to later be elected because, well, having a high prominence can really counteract that member of a different faction nerf that you get when people are trying to vote for you. For instance, if I want him to be my next king, which it looks like he will, not king, but, you know, ruler, and it looks like he will, I'm going to go ahead and declare war. Let's see what I can do. I'm going to gain some seats for the military faction. I think I'm actually okay with that. Yeah, I'm all for gaining some seats with the military faction. What I really want to do are take away seats from the populist faction, because I have negative stability and my ruler is corrupt. The populist faction, okay, well, that's kind of cool. And then they get, for some reason, a ×2 bonafide or modifier to so this man's oratory score, which means they get a full 1+1 faction support each month. That's not good, especially considering that's much higher than anything else, except for the religious faction. Or, sorry, except for the military faction. I might go ahead and change you to the military faction. Alright, so it's not great. Well, not great at all. I really wish I had a military man who had a little bit more oratory score. What's your oratory score? Okay, your charisma is really good. Well, it's decent. So I think I like how much prominence you get for being a researcher. I don't think you get as much for being the what is it? Show offices, the Shepat. But I think I want him to be the new Shepat because I want to push some more Senate influence towards the military faction. So let's go ahead and find someone else for you here. What family are you in? So you're just a minor guy. Alright, well, we will choose you. Your province is at 0. And now, show offices. Alright, here we go. So he's just going to very slowly push the Senate influence more towards the military faction. And we're actually going to go ahead and pick up some seats in the military faction right now by declaring war for... Oh, it doesn't really matter, but let's go ahead and just do it for the actual province of Massilia. There we go. It's going to cost us a little bit of tyranny. That tyranny is going to increase the faction support for the populist faction. No, it's not. No, corruption does, not tyranny. Excuse me, sorry. That means we are no longer getting trade routes from them. Well, we can get wood from other people, including ourselves, or fish from ourselves. So, which do we want, wood or fish? I think I'm just going to go with wood. And we should probably get some more wood, yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and do some conquering. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and move all of my armies towards their forts. I think they only have this one army. Yeah, they only have 13 cohorts, so not necessarily worried about that. And we are going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and fight them. Who is in charge of this army? Bomukal. His prominence is very high. We could increase his popularity with a victory here. Has he been... I wish I could remember... I wish you would tell you whether he had been a Suffet lately, because he can't be hired again. He had to have been a Suffet lately, otherwise he would probably be leading... He would probably be my leading military faction member. Anyway, let's go ahead. He can become Suffet again 10 years after he leaves office. He's only 63, which is getting up there in years, admittedly, but let's go ahead and try to increase his popularity with a good victory here. We're going to gain 20 more opinion of Carthage. Good. And we are victorious. He's going to get a little bit of popularity. And let's go ahead and march him towards the Musulamian capital. Let's go ahead and build another building. I think I'm going to build a temple, just because we do have some converting of religion to do. I also should probably start saving up some money, because eventually I'm going to want to turn Carthage into a metropolis. What kind of bonuses do I get for it being a metropolis? Excuse me. I would probably get an increase to population. I would probably just get an increase to all those things. Cool. Yeah, the Musulami army is just broken and busted. They did automatically siege down my territory, some of my territory, which I'm fine with. This is the army I'm worried about actually losing food. We might have to retreat it, because it's running out of food quite quickly, honestly. Because these horses, they take more food per month. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it off. These other two armies, I'm not worried about them running out of food because they have supply wagons with them. But you, I'm going to have you just start restocking food. Maybe actually come here, take this province capital. Because if I take a province capital, we'll go ahead and trade away some fish. If I take a province capital, I can actually reinforce my food supplies from their food supplies in any land that I've conquered. Looks like they are heading south, but they can't get past that fort, so... Tell you what, we're just getting all sorts of opinion modifiers. We're definitely going to be able to hit the integrate button relatively soon. Alright, we've won our first siege, and I believe he's going to gain some popularity for that. Meanwhile, I think I'm just going to use this my little fast army of horsemen to just chase down their armies. I think There's not much they can do to stop us now. Now that we own this province, I'm going to reinforce his food supply from this conquered territory. And then I'll probably just march him off to the next fort. Yeah, so let's go ahead and just start reinforcing his food supply a little bit. Maybe just like 2 months worth, and then we'll move him towards this last fort. We do need to assign a new title. Looks like we have a disloyal family, or a family who is scorned. Ooh, and they don't have anyone that we can hire, do they? Oh, because 1, 2, 3. Those are the only 3 people. Alright, so just on a side note, I feel like if you're the ruler of a country, that should count as a job. Because they need 4 jobs, but currently they can only have 3 because they only have 1, 2, 3 people who are eligible for jobs. But you are the co-ruler of our country. I feel like that should count as a job. I mean, maybe that's just me, but I really do feel like that should count as a job. They have a very strong power base, so I don't really want to make them disloyal. Their loyalty is going to hurt. Oh well, I'm going to hire someone else then. Let's just put maybe you in charge. That's going to help your prominence score a little bit. It appears that my 10,000 horsemen are actually going to win this fight. We do have the much better general. He knows that he is currently leading in the election to become the next king, although he may not be anymore because he got a little too rambunctious and took a bad loss. He's going to lose 7 popularity. Did that tank his election results? No, thankfully for him, it does not. Let's go ahead and march this army southwards to deal with this last fort, as well as potentially their army. I think I'm going to go ahead and hit the promote infrastructure spending button. We are going to join this fight. I think this is going to be an easy victory for us. They do unfortunately have the tactics advantage over us, but we easily win. We don't gain any popularity because we were not the general in charge there, but we did lose 3,000 men, so that's at least something, right? I'm joking. Obviously, I would not have wanted to lose those 3,000 men, but we did win the fight, so that's the important part. Let's go ahead and just move our horsemen somewhere, our little raiding party somewhere where they can restock their food supplies. Now, they restock their food very quickly, don't they? How's your food looking? Yeah, you're gonna have plenty of food to do this siege. Meanwhile, their capital will hopefully fall relatively soon because we are almost out of food there. This is why fort defense, increasing your fort defense can be actually very beneficial. You can really destroy someone else's army on your high level fort. So, for instance, we have some more pirates to deal with. For instance, it might be wise for me to, yeah, I mean, this fort supply is, or this fort defense is really good because of years of food supply. Alright, cool. I might even consider building a second fort just to make sure that I never have any barbarians sweeping in from Iberia. Alright, this fort needs to fall. And there it goes. So we're going to go ahead and sit here for a little while and resupply our army. They had almost... Oh, and in fact we have just utterly burnt it to the ground. Well, shoot. Let's go ahead, come here and resupply our army then. We killed all their pups. Oh, that's sad. We didn't mean for that to happen. We have a wall breach. We could go ahead and assault it, although I don't think I'm going to. let's just continue to siege down their territory as our very loyal vassals continue to bleed for us. Tell you what, we're sending a lot of slaves to Misua. Where is that? Okay. Well, you know what? Sure, why not? One more slave and we'll actually start producing extra stone, so that's cool, I guess. I think since we are sending so many slaves here that are not our primary culture, I will build a... Let's go ahead and build 2 theaters. This fort could fall at any time, although, yeah, and we're going to be just fine with our food supplies. Ooh, a small favor. The fortunes... Ooh, you know what? I'm all for you losing some prominence. You're going to lose a lot of loyalty. But... And your power base is quite hefty. Because that man's power base is pretty insane. I'm going to go ahead and smear his reputation. That's going to just really hurt his popularity with the people, make him less likely. I mean, he's not going to win any elections anytime soon anyway, though, because he's currently here. I'll tell you what, I'm ready for him to be out of office, though. If anything, so that I can hire him somewhere else. Okay, so now the Barkid family, they need... So I can actually put the Barkids in charge of just this fleet. But is there a Barkid who's... Yeah, I'll do the military faction. You're only 26. You're going to gain quite a bit of prominence because you're an admiral. So you get a higher base prominence if you're like a researcher, but I believe your prominence ticks up faster if you are like here. Yeah, the censor, his prominence ticks up by 0.25 instead of just 0.5. Now the censor does get 30 prominence base, just like a researcher, but some of these like lesser offices, like your base prominence is only 10 instead of 30. And because you're the tribune of the soldiers, you only tick up by 0.5 per month. So, like, appointing someone's censor really is like, hey, I'm grooming you for leadership type deal. Because you make them much more prominent in the short term, but also you give them that 0.25 prominence tick per month. Similarly, let's take a look at some of our military leaders. They get plus 30 for being a general and plus 20 per month for being a general, so both of those are good. So making generals and censors, those are good ways to increase your chances of that person eventually becoming an elected official. We're going to go ahead and siege down all the rest of their land. You know what? I might as well go ahead and hit the peace button. It's going to give us 8 aggressive expansion. That's going to take us back up to 40 aggressive expansion. That is quite a bit, but here we are. And we'll go ahead and get rid of 0.5 of that aggressive expansion. Alright, so first things first, we need to eventually colonize this territory. I wonder if I could just move in enough. No, so unfortunately I'm not going to move in enough Canaanite Punic people to just colonize it right away. So unfortunately we're just going to kind of look at this for a little while. A little hole inside of our country. And let's go back to our missions. So we have completed these 3 missions. We now need to just integrate you. Seems like everyone will like this, except for the populist faction. No one will lose loyalty. We'll actually gain 5 seats in both the religious and the civic faction for this. So let's go ahead and start that integration. I have noticed I have really enjoyed... I know that if you're watching this, you might feel like I'm just spending a ton of time debating on rulership and kind of trying to play one faction against another, or trying to figure out, all right, well, I want more military support, and maybe I want this person to be a ruler someday, so I'm going to put them in this office. I get that that might seem a little tedious, but I'm actually having a ton of fun with it, although I enjoy that kind of tedious gameplay, I guess. You could definitely not do that. You could probably get away with just whoever is your ruler and you just play the game, but I'm trying to learn much more about this republic, well, how republics work. Also, I just noticed that the ruler popularity is not actually my own, but instead it's the combination of the two of these. Whoops. So that gives me, because of my poor popularity, I have Senate influence of minus 0.27. So honestly, that's kind of a nerf, because if I only had one suffet, then I could just boost your popularity above 80, and I could push just about anything I wanted through the Senate. But if I have two, I guess I need both of you to be your high popularity to get a global popularity, the ruler popularity of over 80, allowing me to... The reason I say that is because, like, say for instance, if I wanted to declare war on this person, if I hover over the military faction support, notice down the line, ruler at least 50, or sorry, at least 80 popularity, and it's currently 62. Okay, never mind, it is currently 62. Okay, cool. Never mind, take it all back. So it's not 44. So this number, I guess, just influences primary culture happiness as well as Senate influence. I have a feeling that those are negative because I'm below 50, and if I was above 50, they would be positive. So I'll go ahead and move my armies kind of back northward, closer to home. They'll all sit in the province of Carthage right now. How's some of my conversions going? Oops. Probably should go with you with religious conversion. You should probably also be religious conversion. Harsh treatment, that's probably a bad idea. Let's do religious conversion. Alright, so yeah, now we're at least assimilating and converting them decently quick. You'll be done in 4 years, so we're getting there. We are definitely getting there. Working our way. Let's move you towards religious conversion as well. What about this province? That's an uncolonized territory. This province, we could also definitely do some converting here too. So let's do religious conversion to start out here as well. You're going to convert pretty quick. You'll be done in 2 years. Perfect. Alright, so we have an unpopular council. So we do our general of that little fast raiding army. You are now the consul. No, not consul. That's Rome. You are the suffect. I'm going to pretend that that's how you pronounce that. I don't actually know. If I'm saying it wrong, let me know. Never one to challenge the status quo or even do anything remotely considered interesting. Abrami Hannibal has been elected suffet by a slim majority of dull buffoons in wine-stained togas. It would be fair to say, perhaps, that Arabami does not hold the confidence of the people in the same manner as the Stoic rulers of old. Isn't that the way everyone feels? Doesn't everyone feel like their rulers today are just bumbling buffoons, unlike the Stoic rulers of old? Well, I could say that people simply love circuses. That would increase my popularity, but really tank my amount of gold I have, or I could gain 10 tyranny. And we would actually gain some political influence. What if I did just gain the tyranny? Tyranny is neither wholly good or wholly bad. It hurts my primary culture happiness by a ton. But it does give me some good things, like pop assimilation speed, war score cost reduction, national slave output up. I'm just going to say poor popular Senate support. It's only 2 years. I can deal with primary culture happiness down by that for 2 years. Alright, so let's take a look at our government tab again. I know we spent a lot of time here. Okay, and it looks like Bomakol will be our, unless things change, which... Oh, he's looking like his support is very high. Alright, wait a minute. I didn't think you could be the, I didn't think you could get re-elected for 10 years after you were elected last. Well, we don't want that. Let's go ahead and smear his reputation. That's going to make them less likely to vote for him, because now his popularity percentage is only down there around the 1. So now everyone except for the populist faction, they don't have a super strong wish to elect him. And even the populist faction, while they do have that extra 100% for him being the faction leader, they have disloyal to state minus 50%. So even they aren't necessarily super excited about this guy, because they only have an 81%. So only 81% of the populist faction will vote for him. So the question is, can he actually become our co-suffate with only 81% from his own faction? And well, let's see. Unfortunately, the populist faction, he is a decent populist faction faction leader, because, well, he has that 5 charisma, which 5 times 2 is 1. Well, 0.5 times 0.5 is 1. So I need to make sure that they lose some seats. How can I make sure that they lose some seats? Well, I can make sure that other people gain some seats. Let's see who's next in line behind him. The religious faction at 13. You're very high prominence. You are decent high popularity. I could just imprison this guy. I'll increase my I'll have an increase in tyranny by a lot. 17.20. I smeared his reputation. We'll try to... I'm ready for him to be done, though. Could I just kill him? I would need to imprison him first. Okay. I wish I could just, like, assassinate him. I could play around with the assassination game in Rome. Try to assassinate some of their... of course, as assassinating Republic leaders isn't necessarily as important as maybe assassinating, like, a king. Especially, like, a really good king. Alright, well, for now, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm making, not a ton of money. I'm going to go ahead still, and how much money would it cost if I drilled these armies? Yeah, so now I'd actually be losing money, so unfortunately I'm not going to drill. I know that's not good, that's not the optimal way to do this, but someone needs a governor. You could be good. I also like... I like the civic faction. Put you as governor there. It's going to increase your prominence by 10, but also give you that 0.1. And that's really where it is, because once they get prominence, it's hard to take it away without just, like, pulling them out. So giving them a prominent job title when they're young helps them tremendously become a ruler when they're old, it seems. Still gaining money, although not much. How much money do we need for an invention? 353 gold. That's a lot. And I have a lot of inventions I want. I just can't afford them right now. I should destroy some forts. Like, I don't think there's any reason to have this fort still. The only reason I wouldn't destroy all the forts is because I'm worried about barbarians. Let's go ahead and... Oh, we already are integrating you. Cool. How we coming? We're moving along by 0.95 each month. That's good. After that integration's done, I'm probably going to go ahead and switch out of the domineering stance and instead go to something like the mercantile stance. Yeah, in fact, maybe I should already have done that. I think I am going to go ahead and, well, let's see. Let's take a look at our missions. Basically, when the Balearic Isles are under our control, we will get Archer Discipline plus Archer Maintenance down 20%. I guess that's good. That's going to happen for 20 years. Sure. Yeah, we can have a friend in you. Why can't I start this mission? Carthage is at peace. Carthage opinion of Tartesia. Okay, Tartesia's opinion of Carthage is greater or equal to 25. So let's find them. Okay, sure. We will improve our opinion. Oh man, they really hate us because of our super high aggressive expansion. Well, good news for them. We're not going to be expanding super quickly, super soon. I still want you... So really, if I want you to not win, I need to increase seats of other... Of course, doing that is going to send my tyranny kind of sky high. We have a new oratory advancement. Monthly loyalty is good. Let's go ahead and do national commerce income. Let's start bringing in the gold. That's going to give us 12 ducats per month. We need to get some of these inventions. I do think, though, that this is a good place to stop for today. We have fully conquered all of Africa. We have that one little province and this one little subject who I will go ahead and just send a gift to. And then wait a couple months. How long do I have to wait before I can start to integrate you? August 27th, so I will wait just a few days. 10 days. 5 days. And come on, give me some extra seats. Yes, perfect. So I'll gain some seats in both this religious faction as well as the civic faction for this action. I will go ahead and start that integration. And that should make me lose some seats with the populous faction. Good, they're down to 22. Which means I think that only 80% of 20... Okay, yeah, so they're only going to have 20 members vote for him. As soon as the month ticks over, I bet that switches over down to 20, and sure enough it did. So now, you are still second, but we're catching up with you. Yeah, so you were very prominent. I should just try to make you more popular. How can I make you more popular? Well, I can put you in charge of an army. Yeah, I can put you in charge of an army. Right now, you're just the head of a family and a friend of a governor. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put you in charge of... You know what? I'm going to put you in charge of this army, because... Why not? Okay, maybe I can't. Hold on. Alright, apparently not. Where are you? Are you sure? He is the head of the Barkid family and a friend of the governor and a rival of the Safate. Oh, well, let's go ahead and remove you as a rival. Will that give you any more seats? Maybe. I'll accept that trade. Alright. Sorry. Anyway, I need to get going. I think we are making good progress. I think in the next episode, we're going to keep going down these missions, but I'm going to go ahead... Well, we'll see what happens with the aggressive expansion, but I would really like to go ahead and turn Sardinia that nice Carthage green. I hope you're having a great day. I hope Rome starts expanding soon. If you liked the video, if you've made it this far, there's really no excuse not to hit the like button. Go ahead, hit that like button. Hey, if you like the videos I make, you should subscribe as well. And I will definitely catch you in the next one.